Welcome dear viewers, I'm Xnick and today we're going to have a different video that is not going to be about playing the game but deciding between us, you the viewers and me, what is the worst card in duels. This video is inspired because recently I was discussing about one of the cards that I used in my decks, Cruel Reality, sorry. So some of the viewers argued that the card was not that bad, but we'll see. So here today you have to choose what is the worst card in the game. So we are going to be comparing Cruel Reality. Again, well, it's an enchantment, aura cures, enchant the player. At the beginning of enchanted players upkeep, the player sacrifices a creature or planeswalkers, and if the player can't, he or she loses 5 life. Of course, to be fair, let's say that the card has some advantages. It has unlimited removal and damage, so in every upkeep you are going to be doing some important effect. Then it has enchantment and aura synergy. With a lot of enchantments and synergy going on in the game, it might become a good card to combine with other effects. It has a high converted mana cost, and sometimes that could help you. For instance, with Soaring Grim Nemesis or Combustible Gearhold, you want to have high mana cost spells in your deck, and even if you can argue that it's going to be safe from being eaten by the spell queller, because the spell queller can only target spells with converted mana cost 4 or less, so the card can see some play. But in my opinion, but it's just my opinion, I think this card is not good, it's too slow, mostly because if you build your deck around this, you only receive 1 copy in the game, so it's pretty much inconsistent to play with this card. So let's see, this is going to be fighting for popularity of being the worst card against versus this other, Bonds of Mortality. This is in the game actually. It's a 2 mana enchantment in green, and when it enters the battlefield, the player draws a card, and if you pay 1 green mana, the creatures your opponent control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So it has some cool implications. These cards, you have unlimited activations when needed of this effect. Of course, you have to pay 1 green, so it can help you fight against there are a few examples of cards that you would like to have this around, for instance Archangel Avacyn, Selfless Spirit, Blossoming Defense, and of course the new gods from Amok Head, some big hexproof creatures and other indestructible such as Yulamog, etc. So can have some uses if you run this card in your deck. Then of course it's also an enchantment, so it has same synergies as before. It's a cantrip, that means that when you play this you draw an additional card or trip, and so in some decks you can use that effect for great advantages. And also, since it's just a 2 mana enchantment, can also bait some enchantment removal that will let you play more powerful enchantments later on. So here it is. So which of these 2 cards that we just saw is the worst? Which one you wouldn't play in your decks? Then we're going to have another combat between Dehydration. We see why is this a bad card. Well, it's not bad on itself, but if we look at some alternatives for this card that appear in Magic Duels, for instance Ice Over, Claustrophobia or Sleep Paralysis, all of them appear to be much more efficient than Dehydration. So the same effect, the enchants a creature, and the enchanted creature doesn't untap during the controller's untap step. So this card does not tap the target. Is not like the same cost as Sleep Paralysis, but does not tap the target. Then by Claustrophobia is like a Sleep Paralysis but takes double blue, it's one less mana but two of them must be blue, or Ice Over is pretty much the same exact effect as Dehydration, but only costs 2 mana and also can target artifacts. So there you go. So what are the pros of running this card? Well, I don't think it's immune to Spell Queller. I did a mistake. But it has the enchantment and the aura synergy, and maybe you want to target your own creatures with the duration in case you suspect the opponent is about to steal your creatures. Then you attack with your guys, then they are tapped, and if the opponent tries to take them away, they are not going to untap. Right, maybe that's not a good example, so let me know if you think this card is playable. Then what is the opponent of this card? Prism Array. Well, this card, okay, it's a Converge card with by 5 mana. It enters the battlefield with a crystal counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it, and you can remove a crystal counter from this enchantment, and that then you can tap target creature, and if you play 1 mana of each color, you get to scry 3. Therefore, this card can be used both as a defensive or aggressive. In case you want to prevent some attack, you can tap the opponent creatures before they are able to be declared as attackers, or if you need to make a path for your attackers, then you tap the defenders. And this is also an enchantment, so today's episode is about enchantments, and can be used to set up combos, because scrying 3, well, you know your next 3 cards in the deck, and maybe you can take advantage of that effect. Maybe you are about to activate the Revolt for Aegon from the Call, or maybe activate the Zero ability from Nissa. And also take into account that once you play this card, it's going to stay with that many counters, but if you run Skyship Plunderer, then you can recharge some of the counters that you have placed on that one. But would you play this card? Well, so in this episode you have to decide which of all these is the worst card. So my idea, hopefully next time we can do another round of duels, so don't forget to leave your suggestions and vote for which card you think is the winner here, and remember the winner is the loser actually. And I don't know when is going to be the next episode of this series, but so let's say that it's going to stay. Okay, YouTube is going to decide which is the worst, and maybe we pick up in the future in a follow-up video, but there are no promises here, sorry about that. I hope you have enjoyed, and don't forget to leave your suggestions if you want to see the combat between other cards that you think are terrible in the game. Just maybe you have your favorite worst card in the game. So until next time, sayonara!